So, hello and welcome to today's special live edition. We're in for another round of decoding. So I'll be learning as I'm teaching, as I'm speaking, as I'm sharing with you the experience. And today is a very special day. Just going to write the date. We've got the 25th of March 2022. And I'm going to do the numerology on this. The first thing that comes to my mind is it's the third harmonic of the 7. And the 7 is very significant, as you know, to me. It's in my name. When you take away the T, add the T, you get my name. Yeah, and it's the decoding is off the charts. Decoding Wetiko. So I don't know who of you watched the video yesterday. Very profound. I'll stay on that theme, and I'm even going to go even deeper in the next video. And I'm not surprised that a witch has reacted on the Gnostic Takeover to a great comment, by the way. Let me just show and see, because I have to pick it up, because I unfortunately didn't come to sharing that. But it was Sabrina, yeah. Was it Sabrina? Yeah. Marjorie. Sabrina's comment, of course, was also great because she gives me nice compliments. That always helps. But Marjorie, okay, when you take a look in the community, she really got the idea. And that's why the decoding is off the charts right now. And I'm not surprised that people are showing face, because what is happening is that the agents of Wetiko, no matter what form, the witches, the black magicians, they are now totally losing control. It's because of the level of decoding. This is what I'm going to go into the Navigating the Matrix episode 7 part 2. I'm going to be speaking about that, because the way I see it here at the Gnostic Takeover, I would recommend to forget everything that you think you know about the world. I recommend that sincerely. You can have it on the back burner like I do. I know about geopolitics. Russia, I would need to read a few articles. I'll be up to speed. However, I'm putting that on the back burner, because right now, if you ask me, what is it all about? It's a race. And I don't mean races. It's a race. It's a race to decode the matrix. That's what's happening here at the Gnostic Takeover. And this links directly into the Ayahuasca and Datura ceremony that we had in February. We actually had 2, by the way. So finally, today, I get to speak about that, because I have to speak about that. It's been on I've been wanting to speak about this for a very long time. That ceremony is still like, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And the reason why I'm speaking about Ayahuasca and Datura and the ceremony that we did is because in my notebook here, because today I officially ended the learning lesson of Ayahuasca and Datura. It came to me. It was, you see, I don't decide when the learning lesson is over. However, I got the intel that, guys, this is it. So, yeah, I'd like to also make it official. I, as the High Commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybrow, I want to thank Ayahuasca and Datura for the learning lesson and the learning lessons along the past weeks. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I know what comes next. So I'm happy to officially seal and protect the learning lesson and the Ayahuasca and Datura ceremony that goes back to the 11th and the 13th of February. No, the 10th and the 12th and the 13th of February. You know what I mean. And I seal and protect this ceremony, and I want to thank the forces of ultimate power for teaching us magnetism, self-love, and all the rest, the template for the takeover. Thank you. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Hermetically sealed and protected. Yeah, had to make that official because it's been an incredible ride, and I decoded the basics of what Ayahuasca and Datura really are. Which is why I know what the learning lesson was. And it's a massive thing. You see, that's why I knew what happened yesterday, because there was a big pressure release here in our house yesterday. Because let me tell you, it has not been easy. You can imagine what we've been through. And the way me and Liz are handling this is, I mean, the way she's handling it, I mean, I know I can handle it. You see, I'm really good at what I do. However, for Liz to handle it the way she's doing, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I tell her, like today, very honestly, what she needs to look out for. And that's all I have to do at this point. And, you know, I feel really lucid right now as I'm speaking to you. I feel really lucid as a dreamer in the dream. I'm very aware of the dream landscape. You see, there's one thing to know that reality, we're dreaming up reality. It's a very appropriate term to use. We're dreaming up reality. However, there's one thing to be aware that what we can see outside of us is based on energy, frequency, and vibration, and it's a whole other thing to like have that perception the whole day. And like, it is pretty amazing. And what I can say, what I know to be true, is that the next thing that's going to happen, and that's already actually happening, it's just more things to integrate. I'll get into that. Which is all about the world of emotions that I talked about yesterday. However, the next thing that comes now is complete freedom. Absolute freedom. And it's happening right now here on Earth, right now as I'm speaking. You see, the basic dynamics of this is that just when you're about to unravel yourself from the grips of Wetiko, a multi-dimensional field, an artificial overlay copy of reality that is manipulating this reality and the inhabitants of this reality in the landscape that we're in right now. It's multi-dimensional in scope, and just lost track a little bit because Liz just came in, but it's no problem. And yeah, got it back. Good. You see how they try to hack in? I'm not saying that Liz is in on any hack or whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. It's just trying to put you off the point. Well, the point is back again with me. The more lucid you are, the less prone to hacks you are. So when you are transcending the Wetiko matrix, the multi-dimensional field of a construct, it's not a reality, it's a construct. Reality is what is real. Wetiko, at its foundation, is a fake reality. That's why it is the Wetiko matrix. And as you are transcending out of that Wetiko paradigm, okay, that it's a frequency barrier, okay, it is a limited frequency spectrum, all right. And when the Wetiko matrix can be described in that frequency band, as you're moving here, okay, Wetiko is there. As you're moving here and you're transcending out, that's where the boundary of Wetiko is. The limits of the matrix. When you get out of that, that's where the worst attack happens. That's where the strongest attack comes in as you are phasing out of that Wetiko matrix. So just when you're about to come to the boundary, something comes in. And that something for us was what happened with the Ayahuasca-Datura ceremony, in which we basically decided that enough is enough. We have to end this dreamscape. We have to end it. We have to go for it. We're not gonna waste any more time. The time is now. And we took full charge and just went for it. And everything that has happened since that ceremony, okay, it's no accident that I'm being distracted right now. And it's not Liz's fault. It is just the workings of Wetiko. And it's no one's fault. This is how important this is. That's all I want to point out here. It's very important. So therefore, things start to crumble around, and this and that is happening. Take your attention away from that which is ultimately really important. This is a race for the decoding of Wetiko. Everything else is a distraction, trying to take your attention away from you transcending the limits of the bondage, transcending the limits of the matrix, the prison for our mind that was imposed on us. And as you are transcending the whole, you're transcending the whole matrix, the whole Wetiko matrix, you're going out of there. You're moving into enlightenment. That's the truth. You're anchoring yourself in the truth. That's enlightenment. And I'm going to make this statement here right now. because it needs to be said. I would say, okay, this is my claim, happy to be proven otherwise. My claim is that there is not a single individual on planet Earth who is enlightened. Yeah, you think about all these Buddhists in India or anywhere else, it's nonsense. It's a play. They are playing with themselves. So, this is quite a statement to make, isn't it? I'm just going to say it again because I'm so sure of it. There is not a single being, there is not a single individual on this planet that is enlightened. I'm going to go even further. When we go back in time, I would say there's not a single individual from our recorded history anyway of that which is even true. It does not exist. For the very fact free. Oh, and now they're playing again with my microphone. You think that scares me? You see, interference happens, and I'll let the forces of ultimate power decide on that if you are allowed to interfere with my technology as I'm speaking this. Let's go. Shall we go and find out about Datura and what Datura really is, huh? Because I think she's 100% behind me. Same as Ayahuasca. The two, both of them together that you need to marry together. I'm also going to explain this information. You're not scaring anyone. Why don't you just give up? I know you can't give up, but you see, your time's over, guys. Everyone working for the mafia, things are changing massively because I know what your boss is, okay, and everyone in that pyramidical mafia structure that you're a part of, and I know you've got orders to shut me down, to intimidate me, to do this, to do that. I know. Why do you have to keep things a secret? Why do you have to keep pretending that there's no one putting taps on me and all this and that? I know the whole interior in this ministry is listening in on this. I know that the president's office and all of the people tasked with it from Mossad and all of them, they're all listening in on this. Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor. You keep listening, you'll learn. But that's your choice if you learn or if you bang your head against the wall and just think, oh, what a crazy idiot that is. Well, you can believe whatever you want. It doesn't change the truth because you can't change the truth. Same as I can't change the truth, but the difference between me and the global international mafia is that I align myself with the truth. Which is why none of you guys can touch me. Is that true? Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Isn't that true? True, 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 true. Isn't it true? Yeah. Because I know what I'm doing. I know everything that I have to do to keep my security, keep my protection. It's called learning. And that which I showed everyone yesterday. Do what they can't do. The world of feelings and emotions. Yeah, a man can do that. Can you imagine? I thought I would never see that. Of course, it had to be me that had to go into those emotions. Well, it was freaking me out. Yeah? But first time I Read a book about emotions, 2018 that was, from Vivian Dietmar, Feelings and Emotions. Highly recommend that book. I knew that's the key. It's a massive key. So, yeah, global international mafia, you are finding out right now that there's a higher force at play here, don't you? Have we got an agreement? Well, I hope we do anyway. However, I can only cover the field that I cover, and that which I explain, that what I teach, what I do, what is me. I'm here to do what I'm doing. When everyone from the system keeps telling me, well, I'm just doing my job, I'm not to blame for anything, I don't have to take responsibility because I'm just doing my job. How about me doing my work, my great work? So it's not okay. Or what? Well, I think it's okay because I say so. The world has to change, guys. The UN Agenda 2030 is not being implemented. And the World Economic Forum's plan is failing and failing miserably. The whole Silk Road project with Chinese companies building the new Silk Road with AI systems is failing. It's not, where have you got an agreement with the living entity being on Earth? The forces of ultimate power. I don't think you have an agreement with Datura to do that. I know that Datura says, and I can happily say that for her, as I'm happy to be a conduit for those higher levels of consciousness, okay, very high level consciousness, forces of ultimate power. Datura says, you can only do this, UN Agenda 2030 and the whole transhumanism, AI, cyborgization, and genocide on Earth, as long as humanity consents with it. All of mankind. Now, you know what I've done the last weeks, and has been happening for months, but especially the last few weeks. I've completely removed my consent to that. And all it takes is one. All it takes is one to completely remove consent. I don't have a postal address that I've given to the system. I could be homeless, I could be anything, I could be anywhere, because I'm at home everywhere. You know why? Because Earth is my property. The whole reality is my property. Because that reality I'm experiencing comes from my imagination, is projected by my psychology, and I'm actually inside my psyche. You can read psychology on that. I recommend the book from Paul Levy, where he extracts the essence of Carl Jung's theory on psychology, which is absolutely amazing. Paul Levy has done a great job there. The reality of the psyche. Okay, so we can talk psychology, we can talk quantum physics, the collapse of the wave function according to how you observe the wave function based reality into particularized form. We can talk about mathematics, in that you can prove in mathematics, you can prove something for all elements, which is what you have to do. You have to integrate everyone into the AI transhumanist 5G smart grid system of the matrix of Wetiko. You have to have everyone, don't you? Well, it's not really working for you, is it? That's why you had to go full baloney in Austria here and impose forced vaccinations. Also, that didn't work. I said that right from the beginning that is not going to work. And it just so happens I was right. So am I right now? It's a very good guess to think that I'm right now. Right then, right now. We're talking mathematics here. You can prove something out. Mathematics is just the basics of all of science. The matter, the mother of all science. So you can prove something as true by showing it for all elements, which is the upright pyramid. All elements, then the whole pyramid is integrated. Yeah, it's all about integration. Mathematics integration, you remember? Back in school, or for those who have studied mathematics, they'll nick and they're like, pretty basic stuff. Well, the mystery and the biggest magic is in the foundations of science, not in the complication, can't get my head around it. So the integration of all elements is this pyramid, and that's the electrical pyramid of the matrix. Okay? You want to collectivize everyone. That's why they call it collectivization. That's why they call it like that. Because you have to get everyone, don't you? You have to everyone, and only then it works. That's that pyramid. Now, there's another way of proving something in mathematics. It's not just for all elements, but the existence of one anomaly. One element that does not prove the hypothesis to be true. That's how you can also show something as true in mathematics. And that's the downward pyramid, the pyramid of magnetism, the pyramid of sovereignty that I like to call it. Magnetics, that which you don't control. The Merkaba, those two put together, the electric and the magnetic. The heart, that's why Earth is an anagram of heart. I've been led to this information. And that anomaly is speaking to you right now. We're not going to have a future like you're planning to. I know your bosses are initiating starvation to happen all around the world right now through the breakdown of the food supply. This is no fear-mongering here. Okay, it's just a basic fact that everything that they wanted to do has failed, and because these people, I don't really call them people, they don't like losing, and because they're infected by the field of Wetiko, that's a self-destructive virus, that's a real virus, okay, not the thing that they showed as coronavirus. That actually looks more like Datura. You can now ask yourself the question, why? Just type it in. Type it into a search engine. You type in Datura, you type in coronavirus, and you go and compare the two. That's the virus for them. Now you ask yourself the question, why? Because it takes them down. We're not going to have this vision of the future of mass starvation across the planet just because some jackasses can't admit that they were wrong. We're going to do something very different on this earth, okay? And the truth reigns. I've got a very different vision for this earth. I already know the basic templates of how the new system is going to look like because we ain't got trust, do we? This is the one thing that I have in common with the mafia, the international criminal mafia. The one thing I have in common with them is that I know that everything runs on trust, and they know. That's the language where we both understand each other, don't we, mafia? There's a link between each other, like a connection. Because Datura, which is the Datura is what informs Wetiko. We're going to be talking more about that. That's your boss, the Steckapfer. That's why you can't play with my microphone anymore, can you? Because you do not have permission of the force that tells you what to do. It's the same force that I'm allied with. That's why the high priest of Satanism looked like this. Datura? Yes, your worst nightmare. Yeah, we've done it. No one can stop it anymore. We've done it. Going through like the worst nightmare the last 7 months, last 7 weeks. Losing Errol, losing Leonie, like a fucking nightmare. But guess who comes out of it strong? I'm as strong as ever. Whoom. Did it work what you did? No, it didn't, because it's the end for you. It's the end for you. All the good things come in threes. I know you can't admit it. I know you have big troubles in just taking it on. I know you'll set up a new circus. That's all you can do. I mean, the agents informed by Wetiko, there was one on circus and drama, and that's why they've got the whole controversy going in the legal society of our matrix. Like, unbelievable decoding that is happening right now. And all I can say is it's all not going to happen. Food shortages, well, there's going to be enough to get through, but they really tried their best now to destroy the food supply, the gas supply, and all that. And they have failed. They've lost control completely. They already lost control before. Then they had to take Errol. Okay, they always have to take the protector first. They took down the first line of protection. Okay, so Errol was there as the protection for Leonie. Okay, and for Liz also for me to an extent, because I was growing in, especially since I stopped drinking alcohol or eating meat. I've been growing and I'm my own protection now. So that was the ultimate test for me. Could I do it on my own? And the answer is, you bet I can get it done on my own. Because that's who I am. That was like, that's why in the Ayahuasca-Datura ceremony, it felt for me like dying. It was the most unbelievable ceremony. And I look at Errol, and I'm like, Errol, what's going on here? And Errol looks at me, he's like, I don't know. This has never happened before. And I look at him and I'm like, and that's the indication that what we did with the Ayahuasca and Datura ceremony, which ties together the ceremony from February, ties together with the Ayahuasca and Datura ceremonies. We did 2 ceremonies in St. Corona in November. Those 2 were for the same ends, is to switch the timeline, switch the reality timeline. Or in other words, switch all of humanity, all of mankind, those who make the choice, to the natural organic reality. What is called the prime reality in the Hermetic tradition. And this started before, however, we're now at the stage where we're anchoring it. And that started with the beginning of the cycle. The spring equinox. The beginning of the new cycle. And the way this works now is, because nature works in a cycle, it's a sine wave. All right? Here we go back to mathematics. It's a sine wave. And we start off, that's why you've got plus and plus in the beginning of the sine wave. Okay, mathematicians will know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. The first stage is the fire. Okay, that's why I come in. That's why I'm doing my job. The first quarter, I absolutely have to do my job as the fire. 4 times fire. Aries. And burn away the old, actually. Oh, I love doing that. Great. If I had a lighter now, I'd burn something down now just to show it. The fire, the holy fire. So, and the way this goes, we did this on the 21st of March. We had a fire, and it's one full cycle, the sine wave, which can also be shown to be a circle. The sine function is a wave, however, it's also a circle with the angle degrees of the sine, the function of the sine. And we are anchoring this natural organic reality because of the way cycles work. So you've got a cycle of 1 year, right to the next spring equinox of 2023. By then it will all be anchored powerfully. We're in for a great year. And so it's 1 year, and there's a cycle also of 1 day. So then the yearly cycle is like the largest element of this like sort of spiral wave, sort of spiral function. The spiral function from the largest element of the year, it goes into the smallest element. There you go with the second and the minute and all that. We pick it up with the day. So one whole cycle. That's why when the sun rises and the sun sets, that's one cycle. Because what are the angles of the sine? Okay, the angles of the sine wave. The sine wave. The angles in the circle, the angles of it, are angles of the light. We're talking about light, the sun. Yeah. We've got that 1 day, and you can see every day, you know, unless there's clouds in front of it, it's raining, doesn't happen too much these days. We're going to take care of that. Also, HARP's not going to work anymore. All right, get as offended as you like. Geoengineering and all that, it's not working anymore. I can see it. They're not manifesting anymore. Yeah, it's a problem for you. That's your problem because you're not in the truth. That's why you have to listen to me, because I'm aligned with the truth. Even if you don't like it, you have to, don't you? Your boss told you, yeah, we're taking over. And so you've got 1 day, then you've got 1 week. We are completing a week right now. Yeah, I know that's the really, really powerful information. And the 1 whole week of anchoring the natural organic reality, 1 week makes a big difference. When you've finished 1 week and you've dropped dead because of some 5G weapons attack, you can call yourself, yeah, things going great. Because from the 21st of March to the 28th of March, it's 1 week, and you've anchored it even stronger, and now the momentum builds. The full takeover, this is the momentum of the takeover. So after 1 week, what comes next? Ooh, you guessed it. Yeah, ain't so difficult. It's not difficult knowledge. The important knowledge is simple. After 1 week comes 1 month, and by then, woo, you've gone 1 month. We'll have Errol back then. If it so happens, we'll have Errol and Leonie back next week. Yeah, because I say so. That's why the police wanted to invite me on Saturday, because he's coming out next week. Not paying visits. Coming out is the command. And there's nothing you can do about it. Errol comes out, and everyone's going to be happy, because you'll just have to understand that you can't hold judges to ransom anymore, because otherwise his whole life gets destroyed. And he won't want to do that. I know what I'm doing with the law, okay? It would destroy him financially forever. So the judge is going to write the document to get Leonie out, and also, in the case of Errol, those tasked with doing that will do that, okay? Because you can't afford it otherwise. You can't afford it. And that's how it goes. They come out, and after 1 month, the momentum builds even stronger. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Like after 3 months, then you're at the summer solstice. 21st of June. Now we're changing from fire into a new energy, and that all goes flowing. It's like the color spectrum. And then to the next, and then it goes here, and like, yeah. One full cycle. I know this. No one can stop it. I'm backed by the forces of ultimate power. There's nothing you can do about it. So what's it going to be? You see, this is also manifestation why a manifestation of, you see, they run away for as long as possible from responsibility. They can't take any responsibility. Like a liar, you see? Like a liar who's totally in the lie. When you ask him about his lie and you say, tell me about it, they will always say, what lie? They'll always pretend that it's not happening until they get busted. And the first manifestation of that was that the police took Errol's phone, trespass, okay, paying for that also. That's a felony, all right, not a charge where it doesn't matter now because you've done all sorts of things, haven't you? It doesn't matter now. Well, it does matter, actually. It does matter. So you just took Errol's phone, wrote a message, like an AI bot message. I've saved it. And wanting me to come there, and they even checkmated themselves because I don't do a pregnancy test, and I'm most certainly not doing death jabs. So this is how they checkmate themselves. All right. Massive decoding's happening. Absolutely massive. And it all ties in with us when we made the choice in February. Me and Errol, we made the choice. All right, it's time for the next ceremony. We just settled. Can you imagine that? Not even 2 weeks we settled in our new home. And already we're like, next step. It's the ultimate step. And the first good sign of it working was that I survived that ceremony. Let me tell you, when I was in that ceremony, I literally thought I was going to die. Right? Just doing a quick time check, we're doing good. And we're staying on topic. You see, there's so much to cover because there's a lot going on. Like right now, you're the amazingly privileged few part of the knowledge. This is going to be the thing people are going to be talking about in the next few months. I'm telling you. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you at all. Watch the movie V for Vendetta and how he takes over the media. Well, you're going to see the Gnostic takeover on the media. Diplomat of Earth speaking. Yes, oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Because you see, the mafia structure only goes by orders. All of them. Why are you doing that? Yeah, it's my job, you know, and I'm doing these orders. Yeah, but it's criminally privately liable. Yeah, I know. Yes, a little bit shitty for you, isn't it? Better wake up to reality, don't you? And they all work under the commands. So just like you see in the movies, when some mafia boss gets shot, the rest of the cartel suddenly works for the guy who shot the mafia boss. Or if they create drama, you know, then they've got a cartel war going on. This is how it basically works. They work territorially. Right, just like they've set up these countries, these borders, you know, since the First World War, and especially since the Second World War, set up all these borders the way they are, and these are not run as countries with legitimate governments, but when you look closer, you're looking at territories of different cartels. That's the truth. And you pass from one region of a cartel to another region of the cartel that just so happen to speak a different language. However, they're all integrated into the UN system. They're all being run by a criminal mafia that are not being prosecuted by the government, because the government and the criminal mafia are one element at some level of the pyramid. The one and the same. So you've got a deal going on here where the mafia, the international crime mafia, is not being prosecuted for crimes by the government that has the supposed legitimacy to do that. They're not being prosecuted, and therefore the mafia pays for those people that work in government in the form of financing their election campaigns. Now, yeah, that's how the whole thing works. They wanted to say, and we know that. However, the point I'm making here is that all of these people, they just run the business here on Earth, basically. Okay, they can be the bloody CEO of BlackRock, who himself answers to the ones up top, okay, to the bosses, and they don't even know the game as well as I do. They have no idea about the information I share. Do you think they ever drunk ayahuasca? Do you think they can face their shadows? No, they'd end up in hell. That's why they don't touch the stuff. That's why they don't want anyone else to touch this stuff. That's why they plant shills like Bernard Günther, Veil of Reality, to tell people not to take ayahuasca in these times. Yeah, didn't even talk about Datura, because that's the compartmentalized level of his level of information, because he doesn't even know about Datura. Again, back to the point, the mafia themselves, the CEO of BlackRock, is just taking orders. All they're scared of are the really nasty people in the background. That's why the whole thing runs like this all the time. That's why when you're taking back the planet, you better know the full ramifications of all of this, because you shouldn't think too simple. Well, what choice have you got? You either have genocide and starvation. That's what they have been working toward for quite some time. Genocide and starvation, or you take over, and you will have to speak to these people. However, it depends your level. People say, yeah, I want freedom. Yeah, for me, the most important is freedom. And then they have a nice little chat at a party with someone, and then they philosophize, and they basically don't act accordingly. They're not ready to make the level of sacrifice that we here at the Gnostic Takeover made. That's why it's a race to decode Wetiko. Depends how much you can take. Depends on how much you're ready to give yourself to the truth. And I'll have to stand there next to people who've murdered untold millions of people and fed them to the pigs. So always be wary of anyone who owns a fucking pig farm. That's the people that are going to be looking at me like, who are you to say it's different now? They'll want to threaten me. You're going to put a bullet in your head and they're like, fuck you. That's what I'm going to have to say. Being in full trust that that agent who's killed untold amounts of people, fed them to the pigs, that he's being informed by Wetiko, by the field of Satan. And that field of Wetiko is informed by Datura, that I'm in alliance with. I better not only just know this information, but actually have my trauma sorted out. Not be in any doubt of what I'm doing. Don't you think that's true? Now you know why doing the job that I'm doing takes massive courage, and I'm fucking proud of myself, let me tell you. For a very long time, I was under the hack of not giving love to myself, but I'm telling you, I love myself these days. Absolutely. Like, sort of stuff we've done, amazing. Yeah. And let all of the emotions come up and just feel them. Whatever you feel about that. You don't have to be proud of us. You can also be jealous at us. But I can tell you, I'm just doing that because I knew and understood the situation that we're in. I knew and understood the nature of the crime that's happening here on this earth. And that someone had to make a difference. And someone had to get the sword out. Someone had to just let go of all fear and just drink that drink and nearly die in that ceremony. And it wasn't going to be anyone except me. That's why I'm in this position. And I don't care if I look cool or all I care about is getting the job done. Do you realize? All it takes is to get this job done. And there's forces in the background where the war is going on too beyond the veil. Talking about the Lion King, the Lyrans. Oh, they really don't want me to talk about that. Well, I better talk about it. Against the perception hijackers. Those informed by the field of Wetiko. We're informed by another field. We're informed by forces of ultimate power. Those that teach morality. The single one constant of the universe. Of all of creation. That which makes me stand in my truth and look the gangster in the eye and tell him, fuck off, is morality. And people say they want freedom, but they're not ready to look a mass murderer who would kill you in any moment because daddy and mommy didn't have enough time for him. Kill you in any moment. You have to look him into the eye and tell him, I'm in charge here. You have to have that trust that Datura informs him and hacks him that he leaves. That's how deep I looked into this. I have to know this. Otherwise, forget about getting this job done. You might get 99.99% right. If you get the 0.01% wrong, you could be a dead man. That's why the training. That's why they took Errol. That's why they took Leonie, in order for me to be in the power that I'm, because I wouldn't be. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for me to be in the state of being, the level of consciousness and level of action that I am right now, if they wouldn't have taken Errol. It would have never happened. And now you know that the kidnapping of Errol was done not only by Wetiko and agents of the system informed by Wetiko, but by Datura that informs Wetiko. And Datura is the ultimate force of morality, just like ayahuasca is the ultimate force of reality. And I can guarantee you, and I will ask about this, but I'm breaking information to you right now that no one has ever spoken about. I'm pretty sure of that. Is that ayahuasca and Datura are one and the same thing. It's like a coin with two sides to it. The yin and the yang. Yeah. And no one has ever spoken about ayahuasca and Datura like this before. I'm pretty sure anyone, okay, this is my claim. Anyone prove me otherwise. If someone has spoken about it before, well then, okay, I'm not the first to be mentioning this. Ayahuasca and Datura, let the truth be told, are meant to work together with each other. That's why they freaked out when we did that. Because Datura is the masculine component, whilst ayahuasca is the feminine component of a one great whole. Forces of ultimate power that together combined, ayahuasca and datura become one force. The force of the one and only highest source. And I invoke the entire force of the one and only highest source to be here with me and to guide and protect me. To be here with us and to guide and protect us. Thank you. Yeah. That's what it is. And there's a much deeper decoding that I got from Datura and Ayahuasca, what they really are. Today. I got that today. So you can imagine how much they're freaking out. Because by decoding that level of the matrix is dissolving. The wetico is dissolving more and more because of that level. Ayahuasca and Datura that informs wetico. That's why they don't want anyone touching that. Because the Datura is the Stechapfel, the apple, and the apple of Eden, the forbidden fruit. It's the savior of humanity. We are the savior of mankind. We are, however, informed by the level of consciousness of Datura and Ayahuasca that teach you about morality and the depth of it, how that has to do with self-love. And how when you buy cheap food, even though, and you are still in that mind control of buying cheap because of your mother or because of whoever, is a lack of self-love. And that's immoral. You're being immoral to yourself. That's how deep this goes. And even to the tiniest things in your life where you're immoral to yourself. Even though you're not immoral to anyone else outside of you and you've got this vegan diet going on, you're going slaying in the ice-cold water, you're still immoral to yourself. That's what Datura teaches you. Datura and Ayahuasca. And the way you get rid of that is you feel. Feeling is the one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is you are relentless with your choices. Relentless. That's why whenever I spot a witch, when they reveal, and they will reveal more and more, as the time goes on, I slay them instantly because you don't play with them. You don't wait until they write back and they might give you information. You don't need information about when you're decoding the field. You don't need information from them. You kick them out because they can become a danger. But it's like they show face and you have to kick them out. That's why it looks a little bit relentless. Oh, the Gnostic takeover. It's kicked out. You bet when I'm taking back the planet that I have to be relentless. It's what I had to learn. Nice guy program out of the way and be relentless. Absolutely. That's my very protection. So we're on the hour mark here and that's beautiful because officially I can make this public without getting a stomach pain or something because Ayahuasca and Datura, I mean, what a beautiful thing to experience. They gave me the go-ahead today when I was speaking with Liz here, just having a coffee and just relaxing, decoding, seeing the situation from a different perspective. The relief kicked in and they told me that the learning lesson is done now. The rest There's more to learn. It's not, doesn't mean that oh yeah, we're done with the learning now and it's over. No. The learning lesson from the ceremony that happened in February. The 10th, 10/11 and 12/13 of February. It's when those Ayahuasca-Datura ceremonies happened. And the end of the learning lesson for me and Liz right now, for me anyway, for Liz, there's still more to integrate, I have the feeling. It's just all about honesty. You only get forward when you're honest. And if I'm happy to integrate more, absolutely. However, because I was authorized, me and Errol took the responsibility of authority over those two ceremonies. That's why I was authorized to tell Liz that this is actually it. And the next thing that happens is we're getting Errol out. We're getting Leonie out. And can't even imagine what a relief that's going to be for me. Can you imagine out, finished with the learning lesson, and then they come back and it's just about to happen? What a relief. And that's how you know that all of this here, no matter how crazy this life experience is all just for our learning. Because again, the field of Wetiko is informed by Ayahuasca and Datura. And that field of the Wetiko matrix is being eliminated because we're upgrading and we're evolving out of involution. We are evolving into evolution. That's what's happening. So that has been the biggest challenge of my life. It really has been. When they took Errol, I thought, fuck. This could be the end. I was scared. Next thing you know, they break in to your door. Take Leonie, and you're like, and we've come through. We're more powerful because of that. We're empowered. And there's much more to share with you, but I'll keep it there for now. Gonna enjoy the rest of my day. Just thought I'll hop on, do some decoding, and share that with you. So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sabrina. I'm just reading here. It's wonderful that he's vulnerable and real. Exactly. And relentless. Real being relentless. Getting the sword out when the sword needs to come out. Exactly. I protect my family. I protect my friends. And that's what I've got in common with you, Mafia. We can speak. You want your family to be safe and protected, yeah? Well, then respect that I want my family safe and protected, which is the reason why you're getting Errol out. It works both ways. And I deserve that even more than you do because I'm moral. Because you're immoral, you have to watch your back, don't you? Well, I'm here to tell you that we're also here to protect your families. We're not coming for your families because we're something totally different that you've never experienced before, because no one's ever dared to go that far. Well, I know having come that far, you have to finish the job, and nothing will stop me from finishing this job. Nothing. 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 It's a done deal. So welcome everyone to the new earth. We're anchoring it day by day. Every day gets stronger. Okay, as I said, the yearly cycle, then the daily cycle, the weekly cycle, the monthly cycle, 3 months, you've got 1 quarter of the year. And that's building the momentum for the takeover. Next thing you know, you're going to see the Gnostic takeover on the mainstream media. They've cracked the codes of the Matrix. They're saying insane things. It's crazy because, as the great Nietzsche said, it doesn't matter how crazy you are. There's always someone crazier than you who understands you. This is what it is. We all need a better life. The mafia has to respect that there's some of us who didn't come here to wear the fucking muzzle. You don't mess with us, and you've just found that out. And this is just the beginning. All of creation wants that. Forces of ultimate power that checkmate you, mass murderers, and anyone who wants to intimidate. I don't give a fuck. I'm informed by forces of ultimate power, and they will inform you that you have no business in even speaking to me. I want to speak to someone intelligent. We've got a job to do, which is to clean up the earth and make this a paradise. Are you in on that? Do we have a deal? Because we're doing it anyway. There's no choice, because this is a checkmate. Forces of ultimate power that are way beyond anyone here in the mafia, beyond the high priest of Satanism at the peak of the pyramid of control. Those forces of ultimate power have decided that, and they've used me as a vehicle to express that to you. So don't be offended about me, because I'm just a messenger. I just wanted my fucking peace. And I'm not getting my peace when you're genociding my friends and family in Palestine, genociding my friends and family in Libya, genociding all across the world, and then starting the frontier of war in Europe. Well, you stepped onto a warrior's territory. This warrior knows about the field of consciousness that informs you, the agent of the mafia pyramid structure. I know about this field of consciousness, and I know about this field of consciousness, Ayahuasca and Datura, that inform the field of consciousness that you're informed by, that is lower and checkmated by those higher forces. That's the dynamics and the exact thing of what's going on here. So let your emotions come up. The thing is, can you feel them? Otherwise, you have to leave Earth, because it's not supporting you anymore. And you can't do this anymore. Evolution and creation is meant for other purposes than running meth labs and cocaine centers, drugging all of humanity to be addicted because they don't want to face their traumas and control the whole drug trade. All of the dons and all the Mexican cartels and all the cartels that run the drug business everywhere. You control all of that. We're not fucking having that anymore. We don't want your fucking drugs. You can have a good life too without the fucking drugs and the fucking money. We'll print new money based on hemp, the basis of the economy. Hemp, the mother plant that can grow anywhere and rejuvenates and nourishes the soil. If you're a drug dealer, well, you fucking deal with that now. And all the stress goes away from you, because you don't have to look over your shoulder if someone's gonna chop up your family. No fucking doing that anymore. How often do we have to repeat that cycle? It had to be someone that comes from outside of the system to checkmate the system. Had to be. That's what the Gnostic Takeover is here. Speaking to everyone here. So they learn. Not charging anything. Please support us financially. Keep saying that. The source decides that, if you support us financially or not. If not, I don't give a damn. I will make it. I'll be good. However, one thing's for sure always. We are always going to be here for you. Doing this, we're going to be speaking everywhere. Also, major events. There's so much information to share about, which is why I'm hopping on every fucking day probably. So much information coming through. And everything is going to be for free. Always free donations. Always. It's our very protection. It's why the Matrix can't hack into our operation. Because we don't charge anything for we, and you know what I'm going to say now. Yeah, pretty good. So we've got a new plan, new vision, and it's coming into effect. I've worked a long time on this, and I'm not dropping it now. That's why it took a good part of 12, 13 years to get to this point. And now it's a done deal. Thank you to everyone. Even thank you to the man who at times acts as judge, the woman who at times acts as social services employee. I've learned from you. Through the Wetico field, I could slay my own emotions because of the interaction. So I'm not hating on any one of you. However, if you dare to touch my family, just to let you know that I could destroy you financially. I've got claims, I've got evidence to the claims that support my claims. I'm happy to meet you and invite you at an open court for you to testify on why you keep Errol Kaya in prison and you keep Leonie Maria Stadler against the will of her mother, and Leonie being her property. I'm happy to invite you to testify. And you will have to disprove the claims that I'm making because we're not doing complaints at court, you know. That's your legal fucking system. We're not doing the monopoly fucking board. We're doing reality. It's called property. And not possessions. So the whole world is based on your illusion. The world of illusion that you're in is based on possessions and money, material possessions. And you've got all these houses and you don't want to lose them. We don't do possessions in the world of the Matrix. Possessions is when you steal. We don't fucking steal. It's all about property. It's the other side. That's the light that shines in. Demonic possession, huh? How about that? Who figures that out? Has anyone ever spoken about this? The difference between property and possession. The whole world is based on possession because they stole it. Now they have to give it back because someone's claiming Earth as property. Yeah, that's the only sensible thing to do. All of Earth is my property. Everything belongs to me, just as everything belongs to everyone else. However, they don't. It's not my problem when people don't have the level of consciousness to claim, to have the Thunderbird Eagle vision to claim whole of Earth as property. Because they know that what they decode as an information field of Earth is done by the psyche. And I own my psyche, therefore I own that which the psyche projects into my reality. I have to own, the one owns the other, the inner and the outer, the psyche that creates the reality outside of me. The same thing, I claim my psychology as my property. I claim my mind as my property. It's the same thing as saying I claim Earth as my property. If anyone doesn't understand that, well, that's your homework to do, not mine. Good, with that, I'm going to leave you. Great session here today. Really enjoyed it. Gonna upload it on BitChute. All right, everyone can have it there. It's been a lot said. And just at the beginning, like I'm at the stage now, total peace. I'm not harming anyone. I'm just someone who is more intelligent than the criminal mafia informed by Wetiko down here. I'm informed by up here that informs you down here. And at that level, you don't harm others. There's no need. You solve everything with intelligence. This is a peace. But we're also not falling for any deceptions anymore. I've proven that time and time again. We've had a car down there yesterday with the mafia right there where we are, waiting there. And I said, no, we're not going because something's wrong here. And of course, everyone else would be like, whatever, just do it. What are they going to do? Well, they can fucking chop your legs off and feed them to the fucking pigs. That's what they do. I know the enemy, okay? That's why I know myself. I know what I'm here to do. Do you think I'm going to risk one shopping, make one mistake and get my legs chopped off and be fed to pigs? Do you think I'm going to do that? No, I'd be bloody stupid, wouldn't I? So I decoded the hack, unhacked it. Today we went shopping, no problem. Why? Because the field of Wetiko has been informed by a higher field. And we got the learning lesson, and therefore, shachmat, checkmate. We do what we want, we're free. This is the beginning of freedom. True freedom. And we've never been free. I've never been free. If you think you've been free in your life, you have no idea what freedom is. No idea. You've been living in a bubble that you call freedom, but is actually, you can call it good life. Yeah, you got away with it. Yeah, you've got your house in whatever way you've got. That's why, yeah, nothing more. Happy for everyone to have a house. Happy for everyone who, I'm just saying that actually, what was the point that I'm saying? I forgot it. Anyways, it's all reconciliatory. And everyone is allowed to have a home now. Yeah, everyone, also the refugees from Ukraine, okay? And we stop bullshitting around where we have to give up our property for others when we can create property for them. Let's create that. Let's do that. Everyone, one human family, no one excluded. One family of mankind. Let's do that. It's time. And we can do that now because the field of Wetiko is checkmated. Because otherwise Wetiko would come in and fuck the whole thing up again, you know? Problems come up and drama and like there. Like, no, we're checkmating that field and only that field. Ayahuasca and Datura, what that symbolize the truth, reign into this reality. Isn't that good? Right. I'm going to say it again. Now this is the end.